राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवार धारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवार धारी। जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी। जय यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। नितै गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमधीश डिवाइन ग्रेस अभयचरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत। श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमानाचार्य वृंद की जय। श्रीमती ललिता देवी आविर्भाव तिथि महामहोत्सव की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to simple devotees, all glories to simple devotees, all glories to simple devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. It's a very auspicious day. It's the appearance day of Srimati Lalita Devi, Lalita Sakhi. Srimati Lalita Sakhi Avirbhav Titi Maha Mahotsav Ki. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, the senior Vaishnavas, so that I could present something from the scriptures in glorification of Radha Partha Sarathi Lalita Vishaka, particularly through the medium of Lalita Sakhi, for your pleasure and for my purification. We'll start by chanting these prayers called Lalita Ashtakam, which has been composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. I don't know if all of you have these prayers. If you don't, you could repeat after me the last line twice. Good to repeat that twice. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Radha Mukunda Pada Sambhava Gharma Bindu Nirmanjanopakarani Krita Deha Laksham Uttunga Sauhrida Vishesha Vasat Pragalbham Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Rakasudha Kirada Mandala Kanti Dandi Vaktra Shriyam Chakita Charu Chamuru Netram Radha Prasadhana Vidhana Kala Prasiddham Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Lasyo Lasadbhujaga Shatrupatatra Chitra Pattam Sukabharana Kanchuli Kanchitangim Gorochana Ruchi Vigarhana Gaurimanam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Dhurte Vrajendra Tanaye Tanusushtu Vamyam Madakshina Bhavakalanki Nilaghavaya Radhe Giram Shrunuhitam Iti Shikshayantim Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Devim Gunai Sulalitam Radham Abhivrajapate Kritamatmajena Kutam Manak Api Vilokya Vilohidakshim Vagbangibhistamachirena Vilajjayantim Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Vatsalya Vrindavasatim Pashupala Rajnyaha Sakhyanu Kalasu Gurum Sakhinam Radha Balavraja Jivita Nirvishesham Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Yam kam api vrajakule vrishabhanujayaha prekshya swapaksha padavi manuradhyamanam sadyastadishta ghatanena kritattayantim Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Namami. Radha Vrajendra Sudasanga Marangacharyam Varyam Vinishtatawatim Akhilotsavebhyaha Tam Gokula Priya Saki Nikuramba Mukhyam Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Namami. So these are 8 verses. Give me the book. Can you give me that? It's easier to scroll on mobile than computer. So let's read the meaning of these prayers. I offer pranam unto the haughty Sri Lalita Devi. Haughty means somebody who is very arrogant. Srimati Lalita Devi belongs to the category of Sakhis who are in the mood of Vamya. They are Vamya Bhava Sakhis. There is Dakshina Bhava and there is Vamya Bhava. Dakshina Bhava is those who are passive, submissive. They are always completely following the instructions of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, who for them is not really Supreme Lord but the Lord of their lives. And there are these Vamya Sakhis. Primarily all the main Sakhis, Lalita, Vishaka and all those. Of those primarily, Lalita Sakhi, she is the chief among all the Sakhis. She is so haughty, she can chastise both Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So she tells Srimati Radharani, "Oh Kalankini, where are you going?" And she tells her, if you are running off just after food, hearing Krishna's flute, she says, "You've just eaten, don't run so fast." And she tells her, "Adjust your clothes, you're going to meet Krishna." So she's like a Shiksha Guru to Srimati Radharani. She's older than Radharani only by 27 days. 14 years, 8 months and 27 days, that's her age, eternal age. And it is mentioned that all the gopis, including Srimati Lalita Devi, they are all different in temperament and appearance. But they are essentially their expansions of Srimati Radharani. Just like when the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he expands himself into several portions, plenary portions, kalas as they say. Similarly, Srimati Radharani expands herself into, say, the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, the consorts or queens of Dwaraka, and all the innumerable gopis, especially those who are the primary gopis. These are not, there are various types of gopis. There are some gopis, we'll discuss them in detail. But Srimati Lalita Sakhi, we must understand for the time being that she is the foremost gopi. So if we worship her, it is for our benefit, because this Lalita Ashtakam, it is mentioned in the 9th verse, Shrutifal, that anyone who recites these Lalita Ashtakam prayers will be personally included by Mother Radharani, Srimati Radharani, into her own personal inner circle. Of course, that's not a big thing, right? You don't feel very excited about it. So, it further is mentioned that you may think that she is very haughty, arrogant, so therefore she has no mood of service. But it's the other way around. She is extremely surrendered to Srimati Radharani. In fact, she is so much with Radha and Krishna in their pastimes that she is called Anuradha. She is always following Srimati Radharani. She is always with Srimati Radharani. That's how special Srimati Lalita Devi is. And we can see in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, in Gambhira, when he was relishing the ecstatic, most intimate mellows of Radha Krishna pastimes, he was relishing them the presence of Swarup Damodar, who is none other than Lalita Sakhi, as per most of the Gaudiya Acharyas. Some people say that Ramananda Rai is a combined Avesha of Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, Arjuna Gopi and Arjuna the Pandava. Be that as may, he was relishing the pastimes of Radha Krishna, the most confidential pastimes, in the association of both Swarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai. And just like Srimati Lalita Sakhi's purpose is always to facilitate the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. You can see that. There also you can see Lalita and Vishaka. You can see on the altar Lalita and Vishaka. They're the foremost of the Ashta Sakhis. It is said that there are as many Sakhis or Gopis. Many times in scriptures they are used variously. Sakhis and Gopis are essentially the same in terms of understanding. And there are various types of Sakhis also. We'll try to understand them. But Srimati Lalita Sakhi is doing such menial services, even wiping off the perspiration from the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. It seems very contradictory that same person who can actually chastise Radha and Krishna can actually wipe the perspiration from their lotus feet. And that just shows the exalted position of the gopis. In fact, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are so intimate and confidential that Ramanand Rai mentions in Madhya Leela that only the gopis or somebody of that nature can understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So when we say Raganuga or spontaneous loving devotion, it is essentially as an associate or in the footsteps of Ragatmika Bhaktas, those who are imbued with complete love, unalloyed love of Radha Krishna, and that is the gopis. Ramya Kashchit Upasana Vrajavadu Varganayo Kalpita. They are Vrajavadus, they are gopis, they are the most exalted forms of love of Radha Krishna. And it is mentioned that Srimati Radharani is forever trying to please the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna because she is his Hladini Shakti, is his internal potency. Krishna is spiritual, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is spiritual inside and outside. Because he is completely spiritual, nothing material can please him. Only something spiritual can please him. And so when he wants to enjoy, it is his own internal potency, which is Srimati Radharani, who is the source of his own pleasure. Shakti Shakti Matam Abhedaha. At the absolute plane, they are the same. But when the Supreme Lord desires to enjoy, because he is supreme, unlimited, his desires are also unlimited to enjoy. In fact, there is nothing but enjoyment, that is his existence. And therefore, Srimati Radharani expands herself into as many gopis as possible as there are desires of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Tell me, right now, how many desires do you have in your mind? 1, 2, 3, 4. We keep coming at any point of time. So just imagine when finite jivas like us have multiple desires. Imagine the infinite source of infinite bliss, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. How many desires will he have? Of course, they will all be transcendental because he is transcendental, his desires will also be transcendental. So, if Krishna's infinite multiple transcendental desires have to be fulfilled, who can best fulfill them? Who? Yeah, but Krishna himself in one sense. How? Through his energy, through his internal potency, Srimati Radharani. And she expands herself into multiple forms. In fact, those who go to the altar, when they perform, when they offer bhoga or various upacharas or arti to the deities in our altar, Radha Parthasarthi Lalita Vishaka, the Mula mantra for Lalita Vishaka is also the same as Srimati Radharani because they are internal potencies. They are one Vigraha, they are called Samputa Vigraha, they are together. Radha Parthasarthi Lalita Vishaka. So the same Mula mantra that is offered to Srimati Radharani is offered to the Sakhis, or especially Lalita and Vishaka. So they are non-different in one sense. But they are Srimati Radharani's expansions to fulfill the desires of the Lord. And by expanding herself, the Srimati Radharani expands the desires further of the Supreme Lord. This is the tattva. We have to understand that these are not simple people. They are not simple damsels of Vraja, meaning they are not just milkmaids walking around who have nothing else except frolicking with some cowherd boy. It's an offense. We must understand that these are the Lord's very internal potencies who are facilitating His pastimes. And therefore, when we approach Lalita Sakhi, we should approach her in that mood. We were just singing Bandamohi Savadana Mate. She is the supreme guru of all the gopis. She is the leader of all the gopis. And even Srimati Radharani. So what to speak about others? Let's get in some of these other points. It is mentioned that her body is adorned with a splendid sari as brilliant as the multicolored tail feathers of an ecstatically dancing peacock. When you will find some of these garments mentioned about the gopis very inconceivable. And it is inconceivable because the Supreme Lord is inconceivable. And because the Supreme Lord is inconceivable, His supreme energies are inconceivable. And what is the desire of His inconceivable energies? Their only desire is to please Radha and Krishna. So therefore Srila Jiva Goswami defines desirelessness in his Sandarbhas as bhajaniya parama purusha sukha matra sosvukatvam. Their purpose is parama purusha sukha matra. Their only desire is to provide pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Sukha matra svasukata. My pleasure is only in providing pleasure to the Supreme Lordships. That is why when you say Jivana Marane Kahi, Kari Aranahi More. Radha Krishna, Pran Mora Jugala Kishore. For them it is Pran. In that shloka also, who can say what is the line about Lalita Sakhi? What is the line that comes in the bhajan? Charanaravinda. So it is the lotus feet that they are serving. Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi. And of course all others also. Chamara Dulaya. And her eternal service among others is to carry the parasol of Radha Krishna or the umbrella. She carries those. Let's see some other important aspects. She is full of ecstatic love for the divine couple. She is full of ecstatic love. And how does she manifest this love? I mean, it's one thing to say, I love God, or God is love. Your love for someone is shown by how you serve them. So, therefore, she is expert at arranging the meetings of Radha and Krishna. Of course, there are a few pastimes which are a little interesting and confusing at the same time. Once, Narada Muni wanted to regularly visit Srimati Radharani. He was visiting Srimati Radharani all the time. It was regularly and sort of glorifying her, worshipping her, etc. So Madhava, naturally being all-knowing, knew that something was going to happen, because where there is Narada Muni, there is going to be something very interesting that's going to happen. So he called Srimati Radharani and told her, "Oh Radhike, please be careful. Narada Muni is coming to you regularly, please be careful, he's up to something. Normally there will be something that will turn out of this, so please be careful in dealing with him." So I said, no, he is coming regularly. So then, once he came to the Lord and played beautifully his veena. Some people call it tumburu, some people call it kachapi. Beautifully he played that veena instrument and he sang so well, and Narada is no ordinary person. He is also a Shaktiavesh, he is a Bhakti Shaktiavesh of the Supreme Lord. So his music was so beautifully rendered that the Supreme Lord was extremely pleased, and Krishna told him, "Narada, please tell me, what boon do you want? What benediction do you want? I am so pleased with your music." So he said, and here is the catch. He said, "Thank you very much, but I will keep this as an overdraft facility. I will draw it later. I don't want this boon right now, I will take it later." And those who have read the scriptures, we know when somebody says, "I will use the boon later," it becomes very dangerous. So the Lord said, "Okay, fine, you can ask for a benediction later." And then once in the groves, like you see there, they decided that there should be Jhulan Utsav of Radha Krishna. So the gopis were getting everything ready.
And Mother Radhika was also told she has to come ready and she has to get ready and come there. So while they were all waiting, Madhava arrived there. He arrived there and he saw that Srimati Radhika was coming late. At the same time, Narad Muni appeared there. Surprise, surprise. And he says that, my lord, yes, Narad, you told me that I could have a benediction that I could avail of. So he said, fair enough. Please ask and thou shalt be rewarded. So Narad Muni said, do you remember that benediction that I asked for? That will be most appropriate if it is fulfilled by my beholding you sitting on this swing and rocking with Srimati Lalita Devi. It will be such a wonderful pastime that you can sit on this swing with Lalita Devi and the gopis could swing you. So he's like, that's not a big deal. Yes, fine. Sure, your wish is fulfilled. We'll do that. And he sat on this swing and Srimati Lalita Devi he called her, so come, please join me, sit on this swing. He said, no, I don't want to get into this. So then he forced her, caught hold of her and said, come, sit here. Forcibly, he made her sit next to him. And yes, the gopis were nicely rocking them, just like they are swinging Radha Krishna. And then Krishna turns back and sees that Narada is not there. So where is Narada gone to? Narada, because he's a transcendental traveling spaceman, he suddenly manifested into the chambers of Mother Srimati Radharani herself. As she was getting ready to leave, he said, what are you doing here? I'm just getting ready to participate in the swing pastimes along with Madhava. I'm just on my way, I'm getting ready and about to leave. He said, you are sitting here and there he is sitting on the swing with Lalita Devi. What do you mean? Yeah, come see for yourself. So then sure enough, Srimati Radhika comes there and right from a distance, she sees both of them swinging, being served by the other gopis. And she became so upset that she went away from there immediately. She went away from there immediately and she was sobbing. She was crying in separation from the Supreme Lord in one of the kunjas. So then the Lord, surprisingly, it is mentioned that Charteshu Abhijna Swarat. It's a qualification of the Supreme Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam. He is Abhijna, he is all cognizant. But it is mentioned that by his own sweet will, he is not cognizant of Srimati Radharani's love for him. By his own sweet will, because he is Swarat. Therefore, he manifested the form of what? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So, he decided that he will go there. He understood that Narada was missing and Narada had committed what he is famous for. So he went there, pacified her, told her that, listen, I told you that Narada was coming to you, that he is going to be up to something. You didn't listen to me. See what he's done. He told you that I was swinging with Lalita. And he had come to me and expressed a desire as part of a benediction that I had awarded him earlier. That he has a desire to see me swing along with Lalita. See what happened. It's Narada has done this. And of course then Mother Radhika understood everything and then she smiled. There is also another pastime where all the other gopis, they tied Mother Lalita's tip of her dress or the sari, embroidered sari, with the pitambara of Krishna. So they were, some Acharya says, just like Radha Krishna were married, as is mentioned in some Puranas, where similarly Lalita and Krishna were also married. But of course we also know that all the gopis of Vrindavan are essentially Krishna's wives. They are being married by Gargacharya. So that's there. It is mentioned that in the spiritual world, on the northern petal of Ananga Sukhada Kunja, there is a beautiful kunja covered with various kinds of flowers and trees. This place is known as Lalita Nanda Kunja. Lalita Nandada. It's the color of lightning. You can just imagine how it will be. Lalita Sakhi always lives there. She's got a bright yellow or gorochana like Tapta Kanchana Gorangi. Quite similar, but she's as beautiful as bright yellow complexion. She has the dress which is the color of peacock feathers. She's adorned with celestial ornaments and personifies Khandita Bhava, some people say. She has several Sakhis. This is just knowledge part of the lecture. If you want, you can note down the names of these primary Sakhis in Lalita's. She has got her own Yuta. She's got her own group. In that there are Ratna Rekha, Ratikala, Subhadra, Chandra Rekhika, Sumukhi, Dhanishta, Kalahamsi and Kalapini. There are several of these. But we must understand about her nature. She's hot-tempered by nature. Completely hot-tempered. In an argument, she will completely defeat even Krishna with arguments and her tricky logic. Once, the gopis went to pluck flowers and Lalita, being the leader, was right there. So suddenly Madhava appeared there and said, "Stop! You shall not proceed." Why? "These flowers should not be plucked by you. You have to take my permission." So Lalita Sakhi immediately came and said, "Why should we ask your permission?" So he said, "Because I am the lord of this forest and you are to seek my permission to pluck these flowers." So then Lalita Sakhi said, "Have you sowed the seed of this plant?" So Krishna said, "No." "Have you watered these plants so that they grew?" He said, "No." "Then how are you the master of this? We don't have to take your permission." He said, "How can you not listen to me? I am Dharma personified." He said, "What do you mean Dharma personified? Is there any house in Vraja that you are not stolen from? You are thievery personified. Chauragra Ganyam." She didn't say that, of course, we say that. You are a thief by nature. You steal butter, you steal clothes of gopis, so many things. And you calling yourself Dharma personified? And does Krishna have any alternative? No, he has to listen. That is why Stitagraiva Damodaram Bhakti Baddham. He is captured by the love of his devotees. Krishna loves very intimate mellows with his devotees, but it is mentioned that among the Vamya gopis and the Dakshina Bhava gopis, he prefers the one who are Vamya Bhava. He likes being chastised or being argued with by these people. That's the speciality of the Supreme Lord. It's like Advaita Acharya. Everybody was respecting him. The Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was respecting him all the time. So he deliberately wanted to be chastised by the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the mood of exalted devotees and the Supreme Lord himself. There are many disciples who would love to be chastised by the spiritual master, because if he is very nice, if a spiritual master is very nice to you, it means that he doesn't consider you capable of handling his chastisement. If he says all the time that you're doing nice service, that means there's something wrong. If he tells you you're very successful, you're doing very well, it means there's something wrong. I remember Srila Bhaktidir Damodar Maharaj mentioning that in Krishna consciousness it is humility by humiliation. Humility comes by humiliation. And why not? The Supreme Lord himself is willing to take chastisement from his devotees. He's himself Gopya Tato Tvaikritagas Damatava Tyate Deshashra Kalilanjana Sambramaksham Bhaktaram Niniya Bhaya Bhavanya Siddhasya Sammam Vimoheti Bhirabi Yad Bibeti. Krishna is in one sense fear personified. Bhishasma dvata pavate, Bhishoteti surya. The sun is scared of him, so it rises. Fire is scared of him, the wind is scared of him. Yet, he is scared of Mother Yashoda and is wiping his eyes. The mascara is coming off because she is standing with a stick in her hand. So Krishna can be conquered only by the love of his devotees. And that is why Srimati Lalita Sakhi is such a very special soul. I mean, you cannot just call her soul in that sense. She is Shakti Tattva. So just like there is Radha Kunda and Shyam Kunda, there is Lalita Kunda also. And it is mentioned that Lalita Sakhi in her pastimes along with Krishna asked him, my dear Lord, let all these 64 tirthas come into this particular kunda of mine. So the Lord said, Tathastu. And all the tirthas they manifested in Lalita Kunda. It's pretty close to, when you go to Radha Kunda, you can see it there. In fact, I think there are several devotees from Delhi, including Prabhuji, they had gone there and cleaned up Lalita Kunda once, long back. It's a wonderful place. You will see it in when you're in Radha Kunda. So, the pastime of slaying Arishtasura, the bull demon, by Krishna. After Arishtasura was killed by him, because he is a Vrishaba or he was a bull, Gohatya is an outcome of this. So it is mentioned that Krishna immediately took bath in, or bathed in, took bath is an ISKCON usage, bathed in Lalita Kund immediately, so that he is atoned for the sin of killing a cow or a bull. But when he went to Srimati Radharani and the other Gopis, they said, no, you got to commit atonement for this Gohatya. He said, but I have taken bath in Lalita Kund and there is 64 tirthas present. You may say there are 64 tirthas. We have never seen them come there. Just imagine, this is the kind of relationship they have with the Lord. He said, okay. And then he manifested all the multiple various tirthas. They manifested into Shyamakund. And then Radhakund also manifested. And then the waters of Radhakunda and Shyamakund merged. And Lalita ji was watching this in complete ecstasy. In complete ecstasy, she was beholding the creation of Radhakund and Shyamakund. So much so the waters overflowed from Radhakund and Shyamakund merging, and they went into Lalita Kund. It is mentioned. So anyone who has his bath in Lalita Kund, it is mentioned, can overcome sins due to various kinds of hatyas. There are 6 types of hatyas mentioned, including Go Hatya, Krimi Hatya, killing insects, Go Hatya, Bruna Hatya, Brahma Hatya, Atma Hatya. Atma Hatya, you will ask, how will you commit atonement for Atma Hatya? It could be for your family or for previous births. And also relatives, Svajana Hatya. Any of these hatyas, all the atonement could be done by taking bath in Lalita Kund. And Lalita Kund is Lalita ji personified. So just like Radha Kund is not different from Srimati Radharani, Lalita Kund is not different from Srimati Lalita ji. And let's get into something very interesting. We mentioned that Lalita Sakhi is 14 years, 8 months and 27 days old. She is from a place near Barsana called Uncha Gaon, and she married into Yavat very similarly. Her father is Vishoka and mother is Shardi Gopi. Her husband is Bhairava Gopa. So far okay. But Bhairava Gopa is the friend of Govardhan Malla, who is the husband of Chandravali Gopi, who is in Dakshina Bhava. She is in Vamya Bhava and he is in Dakshina Bhava. It's a very complex relationship in Braja. Both of them can't see each other. Chandravali and her gopis, those who are in Dakshina Bhava, they'll think, what is this? What are these people doing? How can they speak with Krishna like this? They're so offensive. And on the other hand, those who are in Vamya Bhava will think, what are these people doing? How can they be so submissive to Krishna? So, Lalita Sakhi chastises Krishna, you black god, you go and dally with some other woman. Don't come here. Why are you so late? That's the kind of mood they have. And those who are in Dakshina Bhava, they can appreciate what's happening. And here in Braja, how does it go? Chandravali, who is the chief of those in Dakshina Bhava, her husband is Govardhan Malla, and his best friend is Bhairava Gopa, who is the husband of Srimati Lalita Devi, who is fiery as part of the Vamya Bhava. She's fiercer than Srimati Radharani because she can chastise Srimati Radharani also. There are not too many instances in scripture where Radharani is chastising Lalita Sakhi. But there are many instances where Lalita Sakhi is chastising Srimati Radharani. So very special personality. And in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, she has many roles. Of course, we mentioned about Ramanand Rai and Swarup Damodar. There is also mention of her being, she having entered into the body of Dhruvananda Brahmachari. So that is another Swarupa, that another person who has a Swarupa as Lalita Sakhi. She assists Purnamasi in preparing Radha and Krishna, their arrangements, whatever that have done. She holds a parasol or umbrella to protect them from the sun. So there is lots in here. When somebody is in Madhurya Bhava, it contains all the other mellows also. So she protects them from the sun. It's a bit of Vatsalya also in it. And she's very protective of Srimati Radharani. So this is something which is very interesting. I thought I should share. This is something another time when we talked about, when Krishna talked about plucking the flowers and not to pluck the flowers. One of the things very interesting she said, I forgot. She said, I know about you. When you were 7 days old, you killed a woman. What dharma are you talking about? I mean, she said 7 days. I don't know. That's the source that I have. But 6 days is what Krishna book says. You're right. Krishna book says 6 days. Even before 7 years, that's what she said. Even before your 7 years, you killed a lady. So just see how unfathomable is the love of Lalita Sakhi for Radha Krishna. She's so deep, you cannot understand. It's just incomprehensible. So the Acharyas mentioned that behind this whole facade or curtain of haughtiness and arrogance is an ocean of surrender to Radha and Krishna. This we cannot understand at all. There is reprimand, chastisement, everything. But there is complete surrender. And just like Krishna is Kishora, is Nitya Kishore or Nava Yavanam. So 14 years is broadly the average age of many of these people. The Manjaris are slightly younger. And the foremost of the Manjaris is Rupa Manjari, who assists Srimati Lalita Sakhi. They facilitate the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And the Lord doesn't grow. He grows on. When he comes to earth, the Lord seemingly is born as a young boy, then grows to a certain age, then grows to a certain age. But he attains the age of, say, 16, and he doesn't grow after that. So when he was 125 years also old, he looked like a 16-year-old. Shyamam, what is the second one? Alola Chandra Kalasad Vanamalya Vamshi Ratnangatam Pranay Keli Kala Vilasam Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham. And then Nava Yovanam cha. He is Nava Yovanam also. Adhyam Purana Purusham. He is the primeval Lord. Yet he is Nava Yovanam cha. So just like the Supreme Lord is eternal, primeval, and yet Nava Yovanam. Similarly, all the gopis who are on the Sakhis who are in Goloka, they are also eternally young and of this age. And there are essentially, Acharyas conclude that there are 5 categories of Sakhis. This is important for us to understand. The first category is Sakhis per se. They are just called Sakhis. Examples are Vrinda, Dhanishta. These are Sakhis. Then the second category is Nitya Sakhis, which include Mani Manjari, Then there is Prana Sakhi, which includes Shashi and Mukhi. And there is Priya Sakhis, which includes Kamala and Madhavi. And there is Prana Preshta Sakhis. The Prana Preshta Sakhis are primarily the Ashta Sakhis whom we see. Who are the Ashta Sakhis? Who can take their names one by one? Please raise your hands. Yes. One by one. You can take one. Lalita, you took. Okay, yes. Vishaka. Lalita, Vishaka gone. So who are the other 6 ones? Please raise your hands and give their names. Taking the names of the gopis is purifying, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said that he was chanting the names of the gopis. So, yes. Chitra, yes. Sudevi. Tungavidya. Now it's all chorus. Yeah. Rangadevi. Okay. So you can see, who can say them in sequence? Anyway, it's there. When you go on the Parikrama Marg, you can see Radha, Madhav and the Ashta Sakhis. Yes, Priti. Jai. For this side, this side. This is the way to say. Yeah. Thank you for that. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says, Krishna consciousness itself is a shortcut. Please don't take any shortcuts in Krishna consciousness. But this is an exception. We can. It's okay. But just like there are Sakhis, there are Sakhi Bekis also. Bekis sounds like Bevkoof, right? I mean, that is what they are. These are people who dress up as Sakhis. And it is an Upper Sampradaya. It was completely condemned by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sakhi Bekis, a very abominable category of people. They dress up as Sakhis, and naturally they have debauchery activities that they commit. But what we must understand is a material body which is going to be the food of jackals and crows and eagles cannot provide enjoyment to the Supreme Lord. If Krishna wants to enjoy, he needs something spiritual. So if at all we want to be enjoyed by Krishna, we have to evolve our consciousness to that of the gopis, not try to become them. In fact, it is mentioned it is so offensive trying to imitate the gopis in trying to become Sakhi Bekis or whatever. These are Sahajiyas. That it is as offensive as trying to become the Supreme Krishna. It is like trying to become Krishna. It's not the same. Okay, there is this equation that is always there. I've heard this in a lecture from here, from one senior Vaishnava, and I've repeated this myself 2-3 times. Those who are attached to Krishna alone and detached from Maya, who are they? Devotees. Those who are attached to Maya but not attached to Krishna, who are they? Karmis, non-devotees or not yet devotees. Those who are detached from both Krishna and Maya, who are they? Mayavadis. Now the category that is attached to both Krishna and Maya, what are they called? They are called Sahajiyas. They are called Sahajiyas because they take it cheap. They think that they can practice devotional service the way they want. Yes, Shastravadi Mutsruja Vartate Kama Karata Nasasiddhim Avapnoti Nasukam Na Param Gatim. Because they are impelled by lust from within to act like this. And they try to become Sakhis. Now, if anybody wants to become a Sakhi, they must know what are the activities of Sakhis. Let's understand, as per Srila Rupa Goswami, what are the activities performed by Sakhis in the spiritual world. One, for the Sakhis, there are only 2 categories that deserve to be worshipped. They have the Nayaka, which is Krishna, and they have the Nayaki or Nayika, which is Srimati Radharani. So, the first activity that they do in the spiritual world is chant the glories of Nayaka and Nayika. That's the first activity. Always. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Second activity, they gradually create attraction for their lordships. Mutual attraction and attachment. They are already attracted to each other. Radha and Krishna are inseparable. They are already attracted. But the gopis serve in such a way as to increase their attachment. Just like Hanumanji, his purpose was to unite Shakti and Shaktiman. The gopis do that all the time. So that's his second activity. The third activity, they induce Radha and Krishna to approach each other. One thing is to create a situation. The other thing is they go to them and induce them. She's waiting for you or he's waiting for you, and they go and induce them. The fourth activity is they surrender unto Krishna. That's the difficult part. The fifth activity is they create a jovial atmosphere. It's not like they go there and create tragedy. It's a jovial atmosphere. They give them assurance to enjoy their Leela. You can see that they keep watch in the kunjas, they wait outside, or they say lies to their families, etc. So they give them assurance. You don't worry, you continue with what you're doing, we'll take care. That kind of a thing. And they dress them and decorate them nicely. Very well. The eighth activity they do is that they show expertise in expressing their desires, making them both express their desires to each other. 9. They conceal the faults of the heroine, Srimati Radhika, and they boldly announce the fault of the hero, which is Krishna. That is an activity of the gopis. This is very interesting. They cheat their respective husbands and families. This is an activity in the spiritual world. Now these are so-called husbands. They are not actual husbands. And they are so-called in-laws. In fact, they are not in-laws, they are outlaws. The word outlaw means a robber or a dacoit or a criminal. Like the Bhagavatam talks about Swajanakya Dasyu, the dacoits in the form of family members. But here, these are people who stop them from meeting Krishna. So, the gopis, they cheat their respective husbands and their families. Just so that they can nourish the taste of madhurya. It cannot be imitated. This is not material. It cannot be imitated. Like we have extramarital relationships in the material plane. It's just a completely obtuse, perverted reflection, which Prabhupada mentions. And they educate. The gopis educate. They educate even Mother Srimati Radhika, and they educate each other also. They enable both of them to meet at a proper time. They fan them, like we said, Chamara Dulao. The different services they do. They reproach them sometimes, especially Krishna. They chastise him. They set conversations in motion. They start a conversation for them. And they protect by various means. So these are some of the activities that the gopis do in the spiritual world. And it is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that it is Sakhi Prema Leela Viharanam. Basically the whole idea is to expand the conjugal love of Krishna. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Rasmat. The internal potency of the Lord and the Supreme Lord. It is nourished. Srila Prabhupada quotes extensively from Ujjwal Nelamani about the mood of the gopis and how they serve the Lord. It is a very advanced scripture. And we say that Srila Prabhupada has not provided the higher philosophy in our books. Some people say that. But we can say, I have heard senior Vaishnavas tell me that they find it difficult to understand Ujjwal Nelamani. And Srila Prabhupada has casually quoted Ujjwal Nelamani in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So everything is available in Srila Prabhupada's books. We just have to try to read them. Because it is Ati Guhyatama, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna with the gopis and Srimati Radharani. Therefore, it can be understood and appreciated only by those who are gopis and those who are in their mood. This is very, very essential. Just conclude with a couple of points that Srimati Lalita Sakhi facilitates the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So, Srimati Radharani's representative is a spiritual master, and Srila Prabhupada. So, as disciples in this Hare Krishna movement, in this ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, our activity should be for facilitating the services of Sri Guru and the founder Acharya in service of Radha Padasarthi. We should not have our own agendas. Chittite Koriya Aikya means that we should have no purpose that is different from them. We should facilitate their activities. Sometimes we conduct teachers training courses and it's called facilitator. So the facilitator, his job is to facilitate learning. He doesn't impose knowledge on people. Similarly, we don't try to impose our agenda in Krishna consciousness. We facilitate the flow of Guru's energy, Krishna's desire through Srila Prabhupada and Guru. Like Bhakti Tirth Maharaj used to pray every day before going out on Sankirtan. He used to pray that please make me an instrument of my spiritual master to please you. This is a very important prayer for us. And the second thing, Lalita Sakhi does not even hesitate to chastise the Supreme Lord. Meaning she is so truthful and straightforward in her service to Srimati Radharani. She just wants to please her. Quite similarly, we should be uncompromising. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj once told us in a room conversation that we should become uncompromising in principle, but pleasant in our presentation. That should be our goal in Krishna consciousness. And Srimati Lalita Sakhi can pull it off. She is a chief of the gopis. She can speak haughtily. We should be careful when we speak with Vaishnavas, because words can be wrecking balls. Words can smash wrecking balls. You know wrecking balls? The swinging balls on crane which can crack buildings and destroy them. Words can be wrecking balls. Words, once we have said them, they cannot be taken back. There is no backspace button. Srimati Lalita Sakhi can perform various activities. We cannot imitate them. And it's mentioned in Lalita Ashtakam we studied today, how the whole purpose of our life and soul is to please Radha Krishna. They become happy. They become pleased. And our whole purpose of life is therefore is bhajaniya, parama purusha, sukhamatra, swasukatvam. Srimati Lalita Sakhi Avirbhav Titi Mahamotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. And this is a good setting to prepare for tomorrow's Radhashtami. So request all of you to invite more and more people to take part in the big festival. We'll have a wonderful festival. You've seen the details put up on the board. There will be Abhishek also. This is Monday, Monday, which is the 17th. Today we have Abhishek in the altar? No. So we have Lalita Sakhi in the altar also. We can pray to them. You can look up Lalita Ji's Pranam Mantra. There is no direct Pranam Mantra. There is a Lalita Kunda Pranam Mantra which is there. You could chant that and pray to her that we could facilitate and assist in the Supreme Lord's and Guru's pastimes, just like she is assisting in Srimati Radharani's and Sri Parthasarthi's pastimes. Hare Krishna. We can take one or two questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Yeah. Parama Preshta. Okay. Thank you. Pranasakhi is different. Parama Preshta. Thank you. Yeah, Parama Preshta. It's a error of judgment from my end. They're called Parama Preshta. We can have a couple of questions or comments. Would you like to speak something like that?
ये राधा कृष्ण गणोद्देश दीपिका में बताया गया है कि जो 8 सखियां हैं वरिष्ठ सखियां हैं। ये वरिष्ठ सखियां जो है सबसे अधिक विख्यात हैं और राधा कृष्ण की अंतरंग लीलाओं में सदैव सब प्रकार से सर्वाधिक सहायता करने वाली हैं। जहां तक राधा कृष्ण के प्रति इनका प्रेम है तो कोई इनके समान नहीं है प्रेम करने में, और इनसे कोई बढ़ करके तो हो ही नहीं सकता है। ये वरिष्ठ सखियां सभी स्नेहपूर्वक स्नेहयुक्त हृदय वाली हैं और इनकी जो अनुगत सखियां हैं उनकी बहुत आदरणीय हैं, अपार गुण और रूप और माधुर्य से विभूषित हैं। 8 सखियों के नाम जो इसमें बताए गए, एक श्लोक है, ललिता चा विशाखा चा चित्रा चंपक वल्लिका तुंग विद्येन्दुलेखा चा रंग देवी सुदेविका। इस प्रकार से 8 सखियों के नाम हैं। इन 8 वर्ष सखियों में से ललिता देवी सबसे अधिक श्रेष्ठ हैं। ये अपनी प्रिय सखी श्री राधा से 27 दिन बड़ी हैं। श्री ललिता अनुराधा के नाम से विख्यात और वामा और प्रखरा नायिका के गुणों से विभूषित हैं। सब कुछ अंग्रेजी में बता चुके हैं प्रभु जी, उसको हिंदी में बता रहे हैं कि वामा और प्रखरा नायिका के गुणों से विभूषित हैं। वामा का मतलब है मान उदय कराने में व्यस्त हैं। राधा रानी का मान जो है वो बढ़ाएंगे कि नहीं, तुम जो है कृष्ण के साथ झुकना नहीं, अपना जो है सम्मान बढ़ाओ कृष्ण के सामने। मान उदय कराने में व्यस्त और मान की शिथिलता होने पर क्रोध करने वाली। अगर राधा रानी अपने मान को घटा दें तो ललिता देवी गुस्सा होंगी कि अपने सम्मान को क्यों घटा रही हो कृष्ण के सामने।
Don't give in to him.
और नायक द्वारा अवशीभूता, और कृष्ण जो है उनको अगर वशीभूत करें तो वश में नहीं आएंगी, कृष्ण के वश में नहीं आएंगी। और कठोर भाषणी और कठोर शब्द बोलेंगी। और प्रखरा, प्रखरा का मतलब है प्रगल्भ वचनों वाली नायिका जो बातों ही बातों में अपना दुख और क्रोध प्रकट करती हैं। ललिता की अंग कांति गोरोचना के समान है और वस्त्र मयूर पंख जैसे हैं। ये सब प्रभु जी बता चुके हैं अंग्रेजी में। ललिता की माता का नाम है सारदी, पिता का नाम विशोक है, पति का नाम भैरव, जो गोवर्धन गोप के सखा हैं। तो इस प्रकार से कुछ बातें मैंने आपको बताई हैं। अंग्रेजी में बहुत तेजी से बोल जाते हैं कभी कभी, तो मैंने हिंदी में इन बातों को दोहराया है। हरि बोल।
Yes, please. Some mic to His Grace Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you very much for such a wonderful lecture.
That was me.
It was really a feast. So, my question is like, how can we understand these leelas when we have enjoying spirit?
Yeah. Prabhuji has asked me a question which has been bothering me also. Prabhuji's question is, how can we enjoy these leelas when we ourselves have enjoying spirit? So I heard from acharyas that suppose somebody has dysentery, one of the medicines that is given for Ayurveda has got ghee as medium. In Ayurveda, ghee is used as a medium for treatment. Like you drink water, that's a medium. Sometimes ghee is a medium. So, but normally when somebody has an upset stomach, the ghee cannot be taken. It's very heavy. But one of the cures for upset stomach should be taken along with ghee as a medium. By constantly taking that medium of ghee, the dysentery gets cured along with the medication that is taken. So quite similarly, we study these pastimes of exalted personalities and spiritual personalities in the association of Vaishnavas as outlined by the acharyas in scriptures, and Srila Prabhupada has given all of them. In everything that I have mentioned, probably 9 out of 10 of them is directly from Srila Prabhupada's books. Because if you take it from Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, it's easy to understand. Just like Shukhamukad Amrita Dhruva Samyutam. Shukdev Goswami gave Bhagavatam, so it was easy to assimilate. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada provided Bhaktivedanta purports, we could assimilate scriptures so easily. Like we can see Nectar of Devotion, which contains very, very highly exalted topics on this. Srila Prabhupada has condensed purports given by Srila Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, running into many pages with deep Sanskrit, into just 1 or 2 paragraphs in Nectar of Devotion. Just exalted commentary by Srila Prabhupada. So my chavanni, as they say in Hindi, or tupenni in English, is that to study these pastimes purely in the medium of Bhaktivedanta purports, in the association of senior Vaishnavas like you. So it's easy for people like me to understand, like the struggling sadhakas, we have no qualification. And Srila Prabhupada mentions, when we are studying these pastimes, the moment your mind wanders and gets into enjoying potency, stop it there, he says. So the moment our mind goes, we should just stop it and just chant Hare Krishna at that point of time.
This is the
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lalita Sakhi ki jai.